when this young girl begged her mom, a millionaire's shocking reply changed everything forever. The sun hung low in the evening sky, casting an eerie orange glow over the small town of Maplewood. As shadows stretched and twisted, little Mia stood in front of her mother, a storm of emotions brewing in her bright blue eyes. She needed a favor, one that felt monumental, as if the fate of the universe rested on her tiny shoulders. "Mom, please, can we get that puppy?" Her voice trembled, sincere and desperate. But what came next made Mia's heart plummet. Her mother, with steel in her voice, delivered a shocking reply that felt like a punch to the gut. "We don't have time for pets. We have bigger things to worry about." In those moments, the air turned thick and electric, buzzing with unspoken tension. The truth hung between them like an insurmountable wall. Their family had just lost a fortune, millions vanished, swept away by the capricious hands of fate or perhaps the careless mismanagement of her father. Mia didn't understand, but she felt it deep in her bones. Their plush life had unraveled into a pit of uncertainty. Mia's heart raced. What did bigger things really mean? Suddenly, every creak and groan of their old Victorian house echoed with fear, carrying whispers of doubt. Rusty pipes dripped slowly, like counting down the moments before the inevitable crash of the family's fragile experience. Outside, neighbors shared worried looks, and familiar cars no longer rolled into the driveway. Instead, strange vehicles lurked, their dark windows concealing their occupants. Who were they? And why did they seem to shadow her family? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. As night fell, a knock at the door shattered the silent dread. It was a sharp sound that reverberated through the air like a thunderclap. Mia froze. Who could it be? Panic danced in her chest. Her mother shot her a nervous glance. Suddenly she looked so small, so fragile. They both knew they had to face whatever awaited them beyond that threshold. With trembling hands, her mother reached for the doorknob, and for a moment, everything seemed suspended in time. Would the door reveal a chance at salvation or a final nail in their coffins? As the door began to creak open, the air thickened, and Mia held her breath, her entire world poised on the edge of uncertainty. A figure loomed in the doorway, silhouetted against the fading light. Mia's heart raced as she struggled to see their face. The moment felt infinite, like the seconds before a storm unleashing its fury. Finally, her mother stepped back, revealing a tall man dressed in an impeccably tailored suit, the kind that radiated wealth and power. "Good evening," he said, his voice smooth like silk, yet cold as winter's bite. "Is Mrs. Harper in?" Mia's mother hesitated, gripping the doorframe as if it were her lifeline. "What do you want?" she asked, a defiant edge creeping into her tone. The man smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "I'm here on business. May I come in?" Before her mother could respond, Mia felt a chill creep along her spine, a warning wrapped in instinct. Something was wrong. The man's presence felt threatening, an invader in their shattered world. Her mother, caught between dread and duty, stepped aside, allowing the stranger to enter their home. "Who are you?" Mia blurted, her small voice barely piercing the thick tension suffocating the air. "Just a friend of your father's," he said, scanning the room as though assessing its worth. "He and I have some matters to discuss." The moment hung heavily, the unspoken questions pressing down like an iron weight. Mia's pulse quickened. What could this man possibly want? But his presence felt ominous, like an approaching storm cloud, blocking out the sun. "Business, that's all?" her mother echoed, her voice quavering. "Let us just say that your father has found himself in quite the predicament," the man replied, his grin widening, revealing a flash of white teeth. "And I'm here to guide you through it." Mia shuddered. A predicament? What kind of trouble had her dad gotten into? She held on tighter to the edges of the couch, wishing for the puppy she had so desperately wanted moments ago, wishing for the familiar comfort of normalcy. The man drew closer, his eyes glinting. You have no idea how precarious your situation is, do you? Her mother's expression tightened. What do you mean? Let us just say that when fortunes crumble, the wolves begin to circle, he replied, sliding his hands into his pockets, a predator toying with prey. You're in debt, and it's time to settle the score. A lump formed in Mia's throat. Debt? What debt? The man turned to her, his smile fading. Ah, but that's for your mother to understand. Get out! Her mother shouted, stepping forward. You have no right to come here, and do watch your tone, he interrupted, his demeanor suddenly shifting. I'm not the enemy here, at least, not yet. But if you want to protect what's left of your family, I suggest you listen closely. Mia felt herself fading into the background as the adults exchanged tension-laden glances. What path could her family take from here? The world beyond their doorstep seemed to have changed overnight, dark and twisted, full of shadows creeping closer. Let us talk about solutions, he continued, dismissing her mother's outrage. You'll have to make some choices. Just then, a sound echoed from outside. It was the revving of engines, dark vehicles shifting, ominous and unyielding. Panic surged within her. What choices? Mia choked out, her voice barely above a whisper. Another knock reverberated through the house, louder this time, sending tendrils of fear crawling up her spine. The man's gaze darted to the door, a flicker of apprehension crossing his face. More company, he muttered. This is turning into quite the gathering, isn't it? Let us see how much longer you can keep your little secrets. As uncertainty flooded the room, Mia's heart pounded wildly. What lay ahead convinced her that the very ground below was crumbling. She sensed the pivotal moment unfurling, and her family was caught in its treacherous wake. Who were these new arrivals? And what secrets lay waiting, ready to spill into the light? The answers like knives, slicing deeper than they could fathom. The door creaked ominously as the man turned his back to them. He wasn't just going to let the silence linger. He tore it apart with the sharpness of his words. Let us not keep our guests waiting, he said, his voice dripped in mockery. The sound of footsteps outside grew louder, a rumble of boots against pavement that sent a shiver through Mia. She clutched her mother's arm, feeling the tension coursing through her like electricity, a jolt of fear that stole her breath. Mom, what is happening? Mia's voice cracked, desperation lacing her words. We need to leave, her mother said, voice barely above a whisper, fear pooling in her eyes. But where could they go? The world outside their home felt alive with peril, brimming with danger that they could hardly name. Suddenly, the door flew open. 3 figures stood in the doorway, framed by the growing twilight. They were large, intimidating, dressed in black from head to toe. Their eyes were locked on the man in the suit, who greeted them with a nod that barely hid his unease. Ah, you made it, he said, calmness feigned but cracking at the edges. Business is business, isn't it? One of the newcomers snapped, sarcasm twisting the edges of his lips. The words felt like the draw of a gun, loaded and ready to fire. Mia's heart lurched. Business? What business? A chill washed over her, and she could feel her mother grow rigid beside her. Do you have what I asked for? The suited man inquired, his tone too casual for such a high-stakes moment. It sent alarm bells ringing in Mia's mind. What's going on? Her mother demanded, stepping in front of Mia instinctively as if her body could create a shield against whatever darkness loomed beyond their door. Right now, you're holding a negotiation, the man said, glancing back at her briefly. But it seems your family's choices have put you in deeper trouble than I presumed. Through the thick tension, Mia heard one of the men laugh, a guttural sound that echoed in the cramped room. Choices? That's rich. They never chose to be in debt to us in the first place. What do you mean? What debt? Her mother pressed, voice rising, the defiance returning to her tone like a sword drawn in battle. The man in the suit stepped forward, an insolent smile curving his lips. Let us just say your husband's past dealings have caught up with you, and unfortunately, you're left holding the bag. Don't you dare come here and threaten us! Mia's mother shouted, but anger surged through her voice, a thin veneer against the trepidation threatening to crack. Outside, shadows shifted, a swarm gathering. The dark vehicles had parked, blocking escape. The atmosphere thickened, like the silence before a storm, a dreadful inevitability hanging heavy in the air. Enough with the pleasantries, the suited man snapped, his patience wearing thin. Your father owes, and if you want to save yourselves, you'll cooperate. Or else what? Mia broke in, her small frame trembling. He turned, studying her with cold, calculating eyes that seemed to disregard her fear as if it were mere background noise. Or else you'll find out exactly what wolves do when they're hungry. A jarring silence settled, the gravity of his threat dropping on Mia's shoulders like a stone into water, rippling outward with panic. She looked at her mother, their eyes locking, a shared understanding of horror weaving between them. Just then, someone outside shouted. The vehicle doors slammed open, and the sound of footsteps drew closer. Desperation flickered in her mother's gaze, and Mia's breath quickened. Mom, what do we do? She pleaded, adrenaline hammering in her veins. Her mother began, but just as the words formed, an explosion of sound crashed through the stillness, a deafening shout followed by a crash. Mia's stomach dropped as something shattered, sending glass flying and chaos erupting. What the hell was that? The man in the suit shouted, venom in his tone. Outside, the night erupted in cries and commotion, and Mia stood frozen, heart pounding as dread pulled in her stomach. In that moment, she realized the true nature of their situation, the extent of the danger. It was only beginning to unspool like a dark cable winding tighter around them. Amidst the noise and fear, a thought gripped her: what if their entire life had just flipped upside down? And as the doorframes shook, shadows threatened to consume them, would they be able to make it out alive? As the room erupted into chaos, the man in the suit moved with the urgency of a panicking wolf. He shot a venomous glance at the figures outside while the men in black rushed in, eyes darting like predators assessing their prey. Mia's heart raced, each beat echoing in her ears like a war drum, a flicker of instinct urging her to run, to hide. Mia! Come here! Her mother shouted, grabbing her wrist with a grip that felt both protective and terrified. The suit man's eyes widened in alarm, the smile evaporating from his face. You need to get out of here now, he barked, his voice slicing through the clamor. Mia felt her mind scramble. They were trapped. Those figures outside were closing in, and every second felt like rolling dice with fate. Panic clenched at her throat, suffocating her thoughts. Mia! Her mother's urgent tone pulled her back. They needed to move, but where? Outside, the shouts morphed into a cacophony of panic and anger. Metal squeaked, the sound of churning gears as more figures emerged from the dark vehicles, a mix of men and women, all clad in black, intent and fierce. Stay behind me, her mother ordered, positioning her body as a barrier between Mia and the threat. But what could one woman do against this onslaught? The suited man stepped to the side, pulling out something small and metallic from inside his pocket, a gleaming object that captured the light and Mia's attention. I can buy you time. Just get out through the back. A deal? After everything you've said? Mia spat, incredulous. Not a deal. A promise. But it's not about you anymore, he snapped, eyes darting toward the door as muffled voices grew increasingly menacing. Before Mia could respond, one of the intruders burst into the room, powerful and menacing, eyes fixed on them with intent like a hawk zeroing in on a mouse. You really think you can just waltz out of here? He sneered, taking a step closer, each movement radiating aggression. Lucas, now! Shouted the man in the suit, hurling the object across the room. It clattered to the floor and emitted a thunderous bang that reverberated against the walls, thick smoke pouring into the air and obscuring everything. Mia! This way! Her mother yelled, pulling her toward the back door. Terror spurred them onward, fear urging them to keep moving through the haze of chaos. They stumbled past the smoke, their senses assaulted by an urgent necessity to escape. Mia could barely see, but each cough of acrid smoke burned her throat. In the midst of the disorientation, she felt her mother's hand squeezing hers tighter, anchoring her in the storm brewing around them. Suddenly, a strong grip tightened around her other arm, rough, unyielding. Mia struggled, panic surging, as she tried to break free. "Let me go! Mia!" her mother screamed, horror ringing in her voice. With blind desperation, Mia twisted and clawed against her captor, breaking free only to see the door ahead, faintly illuminated through the swirling smoke. The world outside beckoned, a glimmer of hope amidst the chaos. "Run!" her mother shouted, already surging forward with all the strength she could muster. Mia followed, every step driven by instinct, survival pounding in her chest. But the tangle of legs and chaos ensued, wearing them down in the turmoil. As they reached the door jamb, just inches from freedom, the clouds of smoke parted, revealing a figure crouched low, black against the fading light. The connection hit her like ice water in her veins. Mia's breath hitched. "Stop right there!" The voice was cold and commanding, slicing through the rift of hope. Mia skidded to a halt, fear locking her feet. She turned to her mother, dread washing over her. What now? They had fought so hard to escape, and it seemed fate had another surprise in store. And just as they braced for the worst, another voice rose among the crowd, loud and unmistakable. "You think this is over?" Mia turned again, her mind a whirlwind of terror. What was coming next could shatter everything they had left. Mia's pulse quickened, the weight of the moment pressing down on her. The figure at the door stepped into the light, revealing long, tangled hair and eyes that glinted like cold steel. It was a woman clad in black, her face hard and unforgiving. Mia's heart raced, pumping adrenaline as she took a shaky step backward, trying to pull her mother with her, but her grip was already slipping. "Why do you care?" the woman said, her voice dripping with disdain. "You don't even know what the stakes are." Her mother's jaw tightened, defiance sparking in her eyes. "Get away from my daughter." "Your daughter?" The woman laughed, a harsh, mirthless sound. "You have no idea what she means to us, do you? No idea what is truly at play here." Mia's stomach dropped. "Us?" What did she mean? Suddenly, the air thickened with tension, and the suited man from before dashed forward, positioning himself in front of them. "You will not touch them." He glared at the woman, a flash of something fierce coursing through him. Mia took a step closer to her mother, her instincts screaming for protection. The sounds of chaos still rang in her ears, muffled shouts and the clattering of bodies echoed in the distance, but they might as well have been whispers. All her focus narrowed in on the confrontation. "Then you're even more of a fool than I thought," the woman spat. "This is bigger than all of us, and you're on the wrong side." "Hardly," the man retorted, each word heavy with conviction. "They're innocent. Leave them out of this, and I'll give you what you want." Mia's thoughts raced. What could the suited man possibly offer this terrifying figure? And why was her life tangled in this horror? This was a nightmare. "Deal with him," the woman commanded, her eyes narrowing like a predator's. Before the suited man could react, a small group of the men in black advanced, their movements fluid and fierce. "Mom!" Mia cried, panic bubbling over. But her mother clasped her hand tighter, ready to shield her from whatever came next. "Mia, listen to me," her mother said, stealing a glance at the suited man. "You need to run. Right now." "No!" Mia's voice trembled as she shook her head, fear and determination battling within her. "I'm not leaving you. Just go," her mother snapped, but a chill surged through the air. "Stop!" the woman interrupted, raising her hand, halting both the men in black and Mia's mother. "Let her choose." Mia's heart sank. The woman was toying with them, and deep inside, she felt an oppressive weight pressing down on her, void of any hope. Her eyes darted between the suited man and her mother, confusion swirling violently. "Choose?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the roar of her panic. "Choose wisely," the woman hissed, the menace in her tone unmistakable. Behind her, Mia could hear footsteps approaching, the chaos inching closer, spiraling into something darker. The figures outside were moving toward them, shadows flickering against the fading light. This wasn't just a decision to run or fight, it was far more profound, as if everything hinged on this single moment. It felt like time froze as every emotion crashed over her: fear, rage, confusion. She could feel her heart pounding against her ribs, the weight of a million possibilities closing in. But what did she really know? What could she truly sacrifice? Just then an ear-splitting crash shattered the silence, ringing like an alarm. The front wall buckled, erupting into a shower of dust and debris, revealing yet another enemy. "Get down!" the suited man yelled as chaos erupted once more, a fresh torrent of screams and confusion bursting forth from the door. Mia stumbled back, eyes wide in horror, the world around her split open. What was happening? In the heart of the fray, her voice barely rose above the chaos: "Mom!" And as the dust began to settle, Mia clung to the shattering fragments of her reality, knowing in an instant that she could lose everything, including her mother. This wasn't just a fight for survival anymore. It was a fight for the truth. And with every moment that ticked by, the stakes climbed higher. What was they fighting for? Who could she trust? As the clash grew louder and her heart raced like wildfire, Mia steeled herself. Decisions had to be made, alliances forged or broken, and each second felt like a countdown. In the chaos, would anyone escape unscathed? Mia had to find out. In the midst of chaos, time seemed to stretch and contract. Mia felt her heart ticking like a bomb, each second cutting deeper into her already frayed nerves. The dust hung thick in the air, swirling in haunting patterns as she stood frozen between two worlds: the safety of her mother and the lurking shadows closing in. "Mia!" Her mother's voice barked like a shot, snapping Mia from her trance. "Move!" With no time to think, Mia bolted towards the doorway, but the newly crashed wall had left them vulnerable. A surge of black-clad figures poured in like a tide, and the smell of fear clung to the air as the tension crackled around them. The suited man's voice snapped through the din. "Back! Get back!" He flung himself toward the nearest intruder, delivering a swift kick that sent the man crashing into the wall. It was a fierce reminder of how dangerous the moment was. Mia's breath caught in her throat and panic ignited within her. "Mom!" But her mother wasn't backing down. She stood firm, scowling at the woman in black, her eyes blazing. "You think you can just take her? You don't know what she's capable of." "Capable?" the woman echoed, mockery dripping from her words. "Oh, I know exactly what she's capable of. And it's time she finds out just how deep this rabbit hole goes." Mia felt her stomach twist. The words tugged at something inside her, awakening a gnawing pit of dread. What did that mean? "Get her!" The woman's command shattered the last threads of Mia's resolve, sending the men in black charging toward her like wolves on a hunt. Without thinking, Mia grabbed her mother's hand, bolting toward another room, drawing on every ounce of adrenaline. They darted through the shadows, the sounds of chaos chasing them, echoing like a bad dream. Behind them, heated voices and frantic footsteps ratcheted up the tension. In an adjacent room littered with shattered furniture and broken glass, they halted. Mia couldn't catch her breath. "What do we do?" Panic bubbled in her chest, each word amplified by the throbbing chaos outside. Her mother crouched beside her, panic flickering across her face, but she quickly masked it with determination. "We need to find a way out. We can't confront them directly." Mia's mind raced as she glanced around, searching for an escape route. Thoughts of her mother's earlier warning echoed in her head, but now wasn't the time to run. What if I could reason with that woman? "No!" her mother exclaimed, gripping Mia's shoulders tight, desperation mingling with fear. "That's not a negotiation. You are too valuable to them. We have to protect you. Please trust me." "Value for what?" The question slipped out before she could stop it. "What do they want from me?" Her mother's mouth opened but closed tightly, emotions flickering across her features: fear, sadness, resolve. "You don't even know the half of it. Just focus on surviving, Mia. Even if it means you have to leave me." "No." Mia's voice surged with emotion. "I won't abandon you. I can't. Before she could finish, the doors splintered under a heavy blow, and the sound ricocheted around them like a gunshot. Mia, move! Her mother's voice was urgent, strained. Mia bolted again, turning toward a window as it shattered under the weight of an invading force. The world outside twisted in a blur of action, a garden path, trees casting long shadows, freedom taunting her just out of grasp. Just as she made it to the glass, a shadowy form loomed behind her. Not so fast. A man growled, extending a hand toward her. Mia's instincts kicked in, and her wild escape propelled her forward. But then her vision caught a glimpse of the suited man struggling against two enemies, his face twisted in rage. In that split second, the choice pounded in her mind like the thundering of her heart. Would she help him, the stranger who had tried to defend her, or follow her mother's greatest instinct to run? Mia! A voice yelled, but Mia was already torn between worlds, and she knew choosing either path could change everything. And as she reached the window, her decision teetering on the edge of chaos, she barely had time to grasp the consequences. What would happen if she risked it all? Breathe. Think. Act. But the moment teetered on a knife's edge, and what awaited her could either bring salvation or doom. Mia didn't think. She sprang toward the suited man, instinct overriding fear. It wasn't just about self-preservation anymore. He defended her, risking himself when there was hardly a chance of escape. No! Her mother shouted behind her, desperation lacing her voice. But Mia was already moving, glancing back just enough to see the fear in her mother's eyes, urging her to reconsider. Too late. The man was grappling with two attackers, each trying to gain control. With the window within reach, Mia lunged. Hey! She called, her voice trembling but fierce. He turned, confusion flickering across his face. What are you doing? Let us go. I can help. Before the man's eyes could widen in caution, she grabbed a shard of glass from the broken window, a makeshift weapon that felt more like a burden than a tool. She didn't have time to ponder her next move. The intruders were already shifting toward her, their intentions dark and predatory. As she darted beside him, one of the attackers lunged, aiming to trap Mia. She swung the glass at him, a desperate swipe that sent him stumbling back. The moment was electric, a fleeting victory in the whirlwind of chaos. See? She gasped, adrenaline coursing through her veins. We can fight them together. But before the man could reply, another figure barreled through the doorway, a different one, tall and imposing. His eyes glinted with determination, and his focus locked onto Mia with a fierceness that shot chills down her spine. Mia! Get back! Her mother screamed, rushing in, but the towering figure pushed past her, fury radiating from him. Your mother doesn't understand, the man growled, finally stepping between Mia and the looming threat. She's not safe here. None of you are. The tension escalated, crackling like electricity, and Mia felt the world around her shrink to just the three of them. They were cornered. Then what do we do? Mia asked, her heart pounding against her ribcage. You're not going to just leave me to them, are you? First, we don't panic, the suited man said, his voice calm yet urgent. He moved closer, surveying their surroundings, searching for an escape. We'll find a way, I promise. I don't want to go with you. Mia's voice rang out, stronger than she felt. I want my mother. Mia, please, her mother pleaded, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Trust him. He's our only chance. Before Mia could process her mother's words, another crash echoed from the hall, the sound of heavy boots and muffled shouts drawing near. Time unraveled around them, and Mia's heart thundered louder. She had to act fast. Follow me, the suited man commanded, bounding toward another exit as the shadows advanced. Mia hesitated for a fraction of a heartbeat, torn between loyalty and survival, a choice described throughout her upbringing, where she always chose love over fear. But her mother's face twisted in panic. Go, Mia! Get out of here! In the face of that urgency, the decision crystallized. She gritted her teeth and sprinted after the man, propelled forward by a blend of fear and determination. They plunged into another dimly lit hall, footsteps pounding behind them. The air was thick with danger, and for a moment she could swear Flame licked at her heels. Down! The man barked, yanking Mia behind him just as a fist swung toward them, narrowly missing. Where to now? Mia screamed, keeping her eyes wide, searching for an exit in the swirling chaos. Trust me, he urged, casting a piercing glance back. I know a pathway, but you have to stay close. With her heart racing and a lump forming in her throat, she nodded resolutely, ready to follow him into the unknown. Just behind them, the first of the assailants stumbled around the corner, rage painted on his face, a reminder of how close they were to being trapped forever. The world spiraled out of control as they dove deeper into the darkness. But what awaited them beyond this closed corridor? Could they really escape the clutches of those determined to take her? Mia's pulse quickened at the thought. Her hope was flickering, but she held it tight, like a lifeline in an ocean of chaos. As the hall narrowed, voices echoed behind them, closing in. Mia! A voice thundered, deep and chilling. You can't run from your destiny. It's only just begun. Mia's breath seized with shock. What did that even mean? The weight of her choices bore down on her as the darkness threatened to swallow them whole. Was there really any way out, or would she find herself entwined in an even greater battle than she ever imagined? Time slowed as she faced the man at her side. The decisions made now would chart new paths, igniting a truth Mia had never anticipated. Mia and the suited man raced down the hall, their feet pounding on the cold, hard floor. The screams from behind them echoed louder, reverberating through the narrow space like a heartbeat. Panic clawed at her throat as thoughts spiraled uncontrollably. What did that guy mean? She thought, recalling the sinister voice that had called her name. Destiny? What the hell does that even mean? Keep moving, the man urged, his voice steady yet laced with urgency. Mia barely had time to register his command before he made a sharp turn. She followed blindly, fear flooding her senses, drowning out everything else. The instinct to survive propelled her forward, propelling her down a winding path without knowing where it would lead. The suited man glanced back at her, urgency in his eyes. Stay close, he said, his tone suddenly softer, filled with an intensity that made her heart flutter against the storm of fear. They ducked around a corner, and Mia could feel the walls closing in around her. But as they pushed forward, the corridor opened into a larger room. Dimly lit and sparse, it contained nothing but shadows and a heavy feeling of despair. Where do we go now? She whispered, feeling the dread swell. There's a door at the far end, he replied, scanning the room with fierce determination. If we can reach it before they catch us, we might still have a chance. Suddenly, the darkness behind them shifted. The sound of footsteps surged. They had company. Then go, Mia urged, pushing past him. I'll grab a distraction. No! He grasped her arm, firm but gentle. We can't split up. I won't let you face them alone. Her heart pounded louder. But we can't just wait here. They'll find us. The desperation flashed between them like electricity. But in that moment of tension, he seemed to understand her resolve. Nodding, he released her with a heavy sigh. Okay, on three. We bolt for the door. Got it? She swallowed, nodding. 1, 2. The door creaked ominously as they sprinted toward it, and Mia pushed through it without hesitating. Just as they crossed the threshold, heavy shouts and chaotic footsteps erupted behind them. They hadn't escaped yet. Mia! Her mother's voice pierced through the noise, a frantic cry that sent chills racing through her spine. Don't leave! Come back! Mia, this way! The suited man grabbed her wrist, pulling her down another dank passageway. We don't have time. We can't help her if we don't get out. Tears stung her eyes. The pull of her mother was unbearable. What if? Listen! He spun to face her, his gaze fierce and unyielding. We can't save anyone if we don't survive. Trust me. With a final glance back, hoping against hope that she'd see her mother come through the door, Mia steeled herself. She didn't know how she could live with herself if anything happened to her mother. But the truth echoed in her mind: survival was the only way. They pressed on, hurtling through the dimly lit corridors. A flickering light above cast eerie shadows, and the air grew dense with the scent of damp stone. Every sense tingled with the creeping knowledge of danger. They could be followed at any moment. Everything would be okay, he assured her, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of uncertainty, as if he, too, didn't know what lay ahead. Now what? Mia gasped, lungs burning as they skidded to a halt in front of a cloaked door, its metal frame chilled and foreboding. Here, he said, motioning her close. We're going through. No turning back, you understand? A strange weight settled in her stomach. What lay beyond that door? Was it safety or something worse? Before she could voice another concern, he yanked the door open, a gust of cold air hitting her like a slap. Mia took a breath, her heart racing. No turning back just then. The sound of footsteps thudded behind them, closer and more insistent. Mia! The deepest voice roared, abandonment and challenge lacing his tone. You can't run from your destiny. It's time to embrace it. A thought flickered: what kind of destiny was waiting for her? Adventure or doom? As they crossed through the doorway, Mia's mind screamed. In the chaotic rush of emotions, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were racing towards something much larger than themselves. The door slammed shut behind them, enveloping them in a chilling darkness. What choices lay ahead? What price would they have to pay? And amidst it all, Mia's deepest fear echoed in her mind: was she truly ready to uncover the truth about her destiny? The air thickened with tension as they stumbled into the inky blackness, the door sealing shut with a resounding thud that echoed in the emptiness. Mia's heart raced frantically, urging her to scream, to cry out, but the fear strangled her voice. What is this place? She gasped, straining to see anything beyond the fog of darkness surrounding them. It's a safe room, the suited man replied, his tone confident yet tinged with an underlying anxiety. They can't follow us in here. At least, not yet. Safe. The word felt like a lie. Shadows loomed like sentinels, and the silence pressed heavily around them, wrapping them in a suffocating embrace. What are we going to do now? Mia asked, her voice trembling. She could almost hear the echo of her mother's urgent voice calling her back, but she dared not linger on that thought. Right now, we need to gather ourselves. They're after you, and that means you're somehow important. He paused, his eyes searching hers for answers. We need to understand why. Me? Important? The disbelief in her voice cut through the silence. What could I possibly have that anyone wants? I don't know yet, he admitted, running a frustrated hand through his hair. But we'll figure it out together. Together. The word felt strangely comforting, like an anchor in the storm of confusion swirling around them. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the other side of the door. The sound sent a fresh wave of panic surging through Mia. What was that? Stay back. He pushed her behind him, eyes narrowed at the door, muscles tense. They both held their breath, straining to listen. Footsteps, low and prowling, circled like predators. We have to move, he urged, urgency blasting through his voice. There's another way out. Another way? The thought filled Mia with dread. Where? Follow me. He led her deeper into the darkness, each step heavy with uncertainty. It felt like they were walking into an abyss, no light to guide them. The air turned frigid, and she could see her breath curling in wisps of fog. Mia, he said, his voice softer now, more earnest. What do you remember about the man who called you earlier? Mia's mind flashed back, replaying fragments like a broken film reel. He mentioned destiny. Something about me being part of something bigger. Bigger? That's vague. His brow furrowed. Is there anything specific? Any clue? I don't know. Maybe he was just insane. Her frustration bubbled, tears of fear pricking now. What if he's right? What if it really is me they want? He turned to her, eyeing her fiercely. Don't say that. They're not going to get you. You have to trust me. Mia! Her pulse quickened at the sound of her mother's voice again. It echoed again, softer this time and laced with fear. "Mia, please! Where are you? Mom!" She wanted to cry out, her heart breaking at the thought of her mother in danger. "No!" The man clutched her arm. "We can't go back. It's too dangerous. But we need information. You need to remember something important." What could she remember? Thoughts raced. The strange symbols in her dreams, the whispers in the dark, the way her mom always seemed anxious lately. A fleeting memory tugged at her mind, a crumpled piece of paper. I might have something. It felt hollow, but hope flickered with the words. A paper from my mom's old notes, something that talks about the door rattled. Voices outside rose, rough and impatient. "She has to be in there. Find her." The weight of their pursuit bore down on her, sending icy shivers racing down her spine. What now? He backed away cautiously, adrenaline edging out fear. "We don't have time. We need to find that exit. Now." But as they moved, a glimmer caught Mia's eye, an old chest nestled in the corner, half hidden in shadows. It seemed oddly familiar. Could it hold the answers they desperately needed? "Mia, hurry!" he urged, glancing back as the voices surged louder. "This isn't just about you anymore, it's about survival." As she tentatively approached the chest, pounding feet resounded outside the room, urgency pulling at her heartstrings. What lay within could reveal everything or doom them completely. Could she unlock whatever secrets it held in time? Just as she reached for the chest, a loud crack rang through the air, and the door shuddered under the weight of their pursuers. In that moment, Mia's choices crystallized: face the unknown or succumb to fear. And with her heart racing, she took a deep breath and opened the chest. What would she find inside? Was this the key to understanding her fate, or the beginning of a nightmare? Mia's fingers trembled as they rattled over the chest's rusted latch. With a determined yank, she flung it open, heart pounding in tandem with the thrumming chaos surrounding them. Dust spiraled up, covering the dim light as the lid creaked like an old gate. What mysteries hid inside? What truths could shatter their reality? Inside lay a jumble of papers, some worn and yellowing, others crisp and new. Scribbled notes and drawings filled the pages. But it was the familiar handwriting of her mother that caught her breath, a series of symbols, sketches of strange devices, and fragments of frantic sentences danced before her eyes. "This can't be," Mia whispered, scanning the pieces of her mother's past like a lifeline. "Mia," the suited man began, but his voice faltered, eyes drawn to the burgeoning secrets spilling from the chest. "What is this?" "It's my mom's notes. She was working on something connected to all of this." The weight of realization crashed over her, each word fueled by urgency. "This isn't just about money or safety. There's a bigger reason." Suddenly, ominous sounds thudded increasingly closer outside the door. Heavy footsteps and aggressive voices burrowed into the silence like bullets. Panic surged anew. "We don't have time. We need to go." "No," she said sharply, yanking her focus back to the treasures within. "There's more here. It's a map. It leads to something." Her voice quivered with excitement and fear, each breath firing her need for answers. "If we can follow this, maybe we can escape forever." "Mia!" the suited man whispered fiercely. "We need to make a choice. Now!" Time was dissolving, the voices outside drawing nearer like a storm closing in, wrapping around them with a shroud of desperation. As she took the map into her hands, her breath caught in her throat. It was marked with locations, paths that hinted at escape routes, but also something far more profound. "What if it leads us to answers about why they want you?" he pressed, his eyes darting between her and the approaching darkness. This could change everything. The thought washed over her like a tidal wave, propelling her forward. "Then we have to take the risk. Whatever they want." She paused, revisiting the earlier chaos in her mind, strengthened by newfound resolve. "We can't let them get it." With a final glance at the chest, she stuffed the map into her pocket, adrenaline pulsing through her veins. "This way," she urged, shouldering through the musty air and leading them toward a narrow door along the left wall. The man followed closely, their breaths shallow, hearts pounding in unison as the world outside roared with urgency. Beyond the door lay a dimly lit hallway, its walls trembling under their hurried footsteps. "Mia, we need to hurry!" He gripped her arm, pulling her through the gloomy corridor. Her heart raced as they barreled forward, feeling the predatory pursuit hot on their trail. "Almost there," she urged, pushing fear to the side. Ahead, the glow of an exit burned brightly, awaiting their escape. But as they neared the exit, shadows emerged from the gloom, massive figures coalescing, blocking the passage like mountains. The man readied himself for a fight, eyes narrowing. Mia's resolve turned to terror. "What do we do?" "Breathe," he instructed, his calm presence steadied her. "We can't back down now." The figures closed in, the menacing eyes locked on her, hungry and relentless. "Give up the girl!" A voice rang out like thunder, echoing through the chaos. "You're out of your depth here. You can't protect her." "No!" Mia's fierce defiance erupted, pushing her body into a fighting stance. "You don't even know what you're dealing with." The man at her side, resolute and unwavering, joined her. "What we're dealing with is far beyond you. We're not going to let you take her for any price." "What's it going to be?" Mia's voice rang strong amidst the swirling dread. "We fight for our right to exist." Her heart filled with an unexpected surge of bravery, fueled by both fear and determination. "You're not going to win," the lead figure taunted, eyes narrowing like a predator. "You're just a child." "Maybe, but I'm not standing down," Mia shouted, her voice a rallying cry for herself, for everything her family was losing, and for her mother's voice echoing somewhere in her heart. With a sudden burst of courage, she lunged around the poised figures, gripping the map tightly against her chest. The suited man followed suit, lunging ahead as they barreled toward an exit leading to freedom. But as the figures charged after them, Mia caught a glimpse of a shadow lurking behind them. The suited man's eyes widened in realization. "It's not just about you anymore," he shouted. "It's about so much more." As they sprinted out the door, that chilling voice echoed one final time. "You can't outrun your destiny, Mia." Outside, the night seemed almost unreal, full of possibilities spilling into the horizon. But behind them loomed shadows filled with intentions that curved toward darkness. Mia stopped for a heartbeat, mind racing. "What is my destiny?" she asked aloud, as if the wind could whisper back an answer. But for now, all that mattered was escape. They had to navigate the night ahead, follow the map, and find the truth before it consumed everything they held dear. With adrenaline coursing through her veins, Mia turned on her heel and ran, the world stretching ahead and every choice sparking a glimmer of hope. And though she didn't know what awaited her, she vowed to fight tooth and nail to uncover the truth surrounding her family and ultimately, herself. Now, the night was their backdrop, the map their guide, and freedom belonged to those brave enough to seize it. And in that moment of clarity, Mia felt it, hope mingling with determination. They would face whatever awaited them together, forging their destiny one step at a time. But in the shadows stalking them, the hunt had only just begun. If you're still with me, listen closely. You need to subscribe now so you don't miss what's coming next. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm, and show your love for our journey. And I want to hear all your reactions and theories about this wild ride. Flood the comments section below. Think about who you can share this with. Don't wait even one more second to share with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Let's keep growing this amazing community together.